Welcome back to Study Ball. We're continuing our series on rookie quarterbacks. We've already gone through Joe Burrow and Tua. Now we're moving to last year's Offensive Rookie of the Year in Justin Herbert. And played tremendous football. Definitely exceeded what my expectation was for him in college. Thought he was a guy that was a little more methodical. Wasn't as decisive as I wanted him to be. So I thought it might take him some time and he may struggle at the NFL level. And the amazing thing is that you see the numbers and everything, and then you go back and watch the tape and you go, well, I really shouldn't have been as surprised at what he did and how he played, because where he really made the biggest difference was his ability to attack down the field. So you can be a little bit more methodical. It's not so much about timing and seeing things and and aggressively attacking things, early in the down. It's about being able to see things play out and then use your big play ability to make the big plays. That's what he did so special. Still think he needs to work on some of his processing on quick things, but if you can continue to make these kind of throws, that's not going to matter near as much, and he's going to be able to buy himself some time to do that. So they're running a little out and up and come back here. And so this is what they're looking at. Try to give this guy a double move look and then hit the comeback on the sideline. He gets a one-on-one situation here with two safeties back. So you almost say to yourself, this is the throw right there. You've got what you want. You got that DB looking. Even though he covers it really well, this is probably your throw on one of these two levels right here if you don't get this safety engaged to that side. But didn't really matter here, did it? He doesn't care. He's looking back at the safety, sees the safety turn this way and says, shoot, I'm just going to beat this guy with my big arm. And he launches this big throw over the top of the safety on the money. Gosh, who knows, about 60 yards in the air. Big play after big play after big play was what really separated Justin Herbert. And I don't want to just say like that one, oh, it was just him just making a great throw against a defense that really had it covered, or you might not throw it against, because he recognizes things down the field really well. As I said, a little bit harder for him to process some of the stuff quicker and be accurate with the football because he's a little more elongated with his throw. But the deep throws, you still have to recognize. You still have to read. You still have to make plays. And so take a look at this. Okay, blitz zero. Boom, boom. We are bringing the house. We've got man, man, man. And this guy's going to drop down and play man. So there's no safety back, but there is going to be a guy that comes free here at some point, and it's right here, this linebacker. As a quarterback, you always realize if I get blitz zero, there is no help deep in the middle of the field. That's the throw I want to make if I've got something in my playbook. Does a great job right here. I'm going to buy time, buy time, buy time. We want to continue to buy time until it's time to throw, then set quick and put the ball up. Exactly what he does, right? There's no hitch up. I'm buying time, I'm buying time, I'm buying time. I'm letting my guy get to the deep middle, holding the football, letting it go as soon as I plant that back foot, and laying it out there where my guy can go get it. Beautiful throw once again. Might be a little flat. Normally you like to put a little more air on it because this is a tough throw to make, but holy cow, what a tremendous throw by the young man and the touchdown. But what I love more than anything is the recognition of what the defense is doing as a young guy, that somebody's coming free. I've got to buy time and then attack the middle of the field where I can get my big play. First game that he played, right? Remember, Tyrod Taylor had the punctured lung. He found out in pregame that he's going to play against the world champs from the year before, and he played a great game and made some really great plays. So they're going to run basically an all-go combination to that side. We're going to try to go here, clear out this safety. We're going to try to get this seam right here, expecting this corner to fall to the outside, which his responsibility is. Let me pop back to that. So once again, we're going to expect this corner to fall outside because that's his responsibility. As Justin goes to look at this seam right here, he feels this guy starting to midline this. He wants to be able to jump and play both of these and fool you into throwing this seam so he can steal it. Watch the recognition right here. He feels this, and because this guy sinks and turns his hips inside, he's not covering his responsibility on the outside. First game that you played, No preseason snaps. How many guys see this overplay by the corner and able to, on time, get from their seam out to their go route out there, especially in their first game at the NFL level? Great recognition by Justin Herbert, and another big-time throw, chunk throw for a touchdown. This is the stuff that allowed him or made him the offensive rookie of the year. Situation, they're down late in this game. They need a play to be made. Good job here. One of the things I'll talk about a little bit more is I felt like he didn't have great presence back here. Too often, he would fall really deep in the pocket, and instead of just sliding up and settling, it would get him out of whack a little bit, or he'd hold back here in this position and make it a little easier on the defenses. Good job here feeling it and bouncing up and resetting. And he's resetting here because he has to. He's in a situation where they need a touchdown. But he slides up, resets, and I don't even know what he saw. What you're really looking for here, he's looking off to this side, is you're really looking at this safety right here. This safety engages on this corner. He engages on this corner. Now we've got a chance to go wide receiver against linebacker, back to the inside, and work back across this direction. Slides up, sees that safety backside, lines it up, and just throws a dime in between the linebacker and the safety over here as he's stepping up. Man, and you saw this over and over again. Some really, really big-time throws by Justin Herbert. Playmaking. Playmaking ability down the field is where Justin Herbert made his money and what separated him last year. We've shown all the different throws, and sometimes it's just, hey, it's one-on-one. I believe my throw and my receiver are better than the defender. I mean, this doesn't get any better. I mean, drop it in the bucket. Great coverage. Doesn't matter. One-on-one. Get yourself a touchdown because you have confidence in your ability to make the throws down the field, which is what Justin Herbert definitely had even as a rookie. All right. Okay, with that, you're going to expect some mistakes for a rookie without a doubt, right? Big playmaker, especially if you're pushing the ball down the field, which is exactly what the Chargers did and Justin Herbert did, and more times than not, he made those plays. But because of that and because he's aggressive, there were times that he was a little quick with his decisions and tried to get the ball out and tried to jam in some of the throws, and that's the one thing that I think he's got to get better at next year in the deep passing game. So they're going to run a corner, a deep corner, and a flat. Okay, we get our guy to jump the flat, so everything is on this corner right here. See Justin Herbert right here is already ready to throw the football. Okay, patience. Patience a little bit. I know you think you can make this throw and you're going to beat that corner with the throw, but patience. Let this guy make a decision. Either his decision is to keep going back, so this guy definitely gets across his face, or he settles, and it allows you the time to be able to get up over the top. Here he's a little quick with his decision, and you see the corner sitting there waiting. Corner's going to intercept this, where the big throw is right there. Just a little bit more patience, right? A little bit more vision. Know where your eyes need to be, and don't make these mistakes. And again, didn't make a lot of them for a young guy, but this one to me is pretty easy. It was really more about him trying to jam it in there and getting impatient with the read instead of staying patient and allowing it to play out for him. We're going to run a double seam concept here, okay? Good read. We're going to run our double seam, okay? Free safety back here. Guy dropping down, okay? All good. Now, just read the safety. Read the safety. And this is one of those where you could say, oh, it's even because right here he's in the middle of the field and it doesn't really matter. Okay, it doesn't really matter. You always want to try to keep your eyes on the safety until you throw, until you're right to that point of set. So right here, his eyes are over there. Okay, his eyes are over there already, and you'll see this safety start to work over there because of that. Young quarterbacks, if you can, right, even if he's even, okay, and you know you want to go to this side because he's even, try to look over this way first and get him to turn his hips like he does. Okay, this time he turns his hips right there. Safety turns his hips like that. It's going to be nearly impossible for him to get back to the seam on the other side. Justin, again, eyes were there, rushing things just a touch, And not that this is a horrible throw. You see the window that he has right there as he has the window back to this side. But it's a little bit tighter because he took that safety in that direction. And as much as anything, just not quite enough on the throw. And probably the biggest thing is timing. Notice this is a 5-step drop from under center when you're throwing these double seams. 5 steps, get the ball up and out and beat this safety with the throw. You'll notice in this situation he takes 5 steps from the gun and then the hitch, which makes the ball coming out a little bit too late, which allows guys to get into the mix and make a play on the football. So really just timing oriented more than anything, and then using your eyes to negotiate this safety. Little things that he's going to continue to get better at when you put it all together. Made more plays than he made mistakes, but these are the little things that he has to work on to bring him to even a higher level than he was playing at this year. Okay, here's another one. Talked about the pocket idea. Notice how he drops back in the pocket and he stops right there in the pocket. We always say when you're throwing deeper routes, okay, you're throwing deeper routes, you drop back, so you set the point for the defensive ends, you drop back, and then you slide up into the pocket. Anytime you have like a 7-step drop where you're going deep and these guys are getting down the field, set the point, set the pocket, and then step up into it so you help your tackles out. Notice here, he stays in that position and it makes it hard. If he just slides up here, I believe he can stay in the pocket and he's got a chance to, again, make a throw. Does he want to take the seams here? Same play that he just ran. If he steps up here in the pocket, he's got a chance to make those seam throws. Again, a little too deep of a drop, a little bit late going out. And if he doesn't like those because of the squeeze of the turn, he can work to the outside in his stop routes, depending on which way he wants to go. Okay? Another thing here. Notice that his eyes are once again over to this side most of the time. Now, if he was looking over there to take the safety and then come back here, I could buy it. But quarterbacks, understand, we're looking at this. This safety is going to drop down. A lot of times we're going to say, okay, 1, 2 defenders that side, 1, 2 defenders this side. Okay, it's even. Doesn't really matter. Now, yes, free safety is always going to tell you first, if you're throwing double seam, which side to go on. But if you don't get a true read by the free safety and he doesn't really take away either of them, what I want you guys to realize is that even though there's the same number of defenders on both sides, with the ball being on this backside hash, these 2 guys have a lot more ground to cover than these 2 guys. So anytime we're reading a defense, we're always trying to get them to cover width and depth. We always want to find those guys that have to cover more ground, because if we've got more ground to cover, it's going to be harder for us to cover all that ground, and there's going to be bigger windows for us defensively. If you go back to my Blackboard breakdowns, once I launched QB Confidential, we'll talk about the 10 zones on the field. So if these 2 guys have to cover 3 zones, they've got a lot more room to cover than these 2 guys covering 2 zones, right? 2 for 2 or 2 for 3, and we're always looking for those zones where a defender has to cover more than what he's allotted to cover, which gives us more room to be able to negotiate them and make plays. But nonetheless, as he steps up here, okay, eyes down the field, always looking to be a playmaker, not a guy that look to scramble, even though he can run. He's very athletic, but eyes down the field. And once again, you see the big playmaking ability of Justin Herbert, even where he's a little bit slow and methodical and not reading things quite as fast as we want him to at times. He's still able to keep plays alive and make big plays with that big arm of his.